So why can't we just buy the property off-site?
There's a couple of reasons that buying the property off-site wouldn't be the greatest stewardship. One is it actually is cheaper to add the 100 to 115 parking spots on our present facility than it would be to buy those with their current price that they're asking. A second reason is it's a longer walk. They're not in great shape. They would need a lot of maintenance and a lot of repair simply to make them usable if they were our property. It just isn't good stewardship to try to buy those pieces of property.
Awesome. So where would we add the other 100 to 115 parking spaces?
A couple of years ago, we bought about an acre and a half behind the zoo parking. So there's a little gully down there with woods. What that allows us to do is we could put parking down there, but it also increased our green space substantially so that we could add some parking at other locations. So we don't know exactly where, but we do have the space to add those 100 spots. Probably some of them will be down in that gully where the woods are and connect it to our current parking lot.
How much would it cost to add 100 spaces or so?
Yeah, do you know that answer? I know I've seen the number.
$250,000?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, try again. Go ahead and ask that again.
Well, how much will it cost to add the extra parking spaces?
Yeah, we've not done a full study on the actual cost, but we believe we've done a rough estimate that it's going to cost us somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 to add about 100 to 110 parking spots.
So why can't we just add more services? Doesn't that help change the parking problem?
We will add services first. We're not going to stay with 2 services. We'll go to 3. Eventually, if we needed to, we might even go to 4. But if we don't add parking, then we simply built too large. We wanted to make sure that if the building was full, we would have enough parking on site. So this 100 parking spots, whether we have 2 or 3 or 4 services, that the parking matches as the space for parking matches as the space for seating in our auditorium. Any other questions?
Will we need to eventually buy shuttle buses for parking?
We probably would need to buy shuttle buses for parking if we can't, not can't. I'll answer again.
So are we going to end up long-term having to buy shuttle buses for our parking?
We want to avoid shuttle buses. We could if we needed to, but we don't think that's, again, a best long-term solution in Rochester, New York. And that is why if we can add them on site, then everyone is within walking distance, and there won't be any need for any kind of shuttle vehicles for people.
Doesn't adding parking create traffic problems?
We actually, for the size of our auditorium, we've been pleased with the lack of traffic jams that occur on our property. And we think adding 100 spots, even maybe that would add an extra minute to 2 minutes to people leaving the facility, but that probably is even an exaggeration. So we feel very comfortable because there are 4 different exits to leave our property. We don't think we'll create more traffic jams through 100 extra parking spots.
So why do we need exactly 100 to 115 more parking spaces?
Our auditorium seats 750 people. However many people we have in the auditorium, we've discovered we have about 1/3 of that amount in other places. So when you add that together and our average of a little less than 2 persons per car, we've just done the math. And the math tells us that if we add 100 parking spots, we'll be able to maximize our property, our building, so that everyone in the building will have a place to park. So it's just been simple math for us. At different churches, the numbers are different. At a church like ours with multiple services and some families bringing more than 1 car because a spouse is serving at one service and attending another, that kind of thing. We just have a lot of families bringing more than 1 car. So it's really just a simple math formula that tells us that approximately 100 parking spots will allow us to maximize our building.
Why can't we just build a parking garage?
We actually looked into building a parking garage, but a parking garage would be much more expensive, incredibly more expensive than simply adding the 100 spots. And city zoning, they just don't seem too excited about parking garages on the outskirts of the city. That might not be a bad ending.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was good, Jay. See?